Hello everyone, this is Blackbird Senpai speaking, and welcome to Blackbird Senpai 2, my new channel created specifically for Chainsaw Man. And the big thing about this is that this is the first video to be recorded for this channel. Anything else before this, I think right now I only have the Mako video up, is from the previous channel, Blackbird Senpai, which is still around. I don't want to say like it's gone, just it doesn't really fit the mold of what we're doing here, which is again mostly Chainsaw Man content. I plan on doing the anime reviews here. Obviously part 2 is coming out, so this is going to be the one-stop shop for Chainsaw Man as far as it comes to me. So I guess I'll have an official video speaking about what I will do here more in depth later on, but right now this video is going to be my top 10 favorite characters from Chainsaw Man Part 1. I guess now I have to separate it now that we do have officially a Part 2, but yeah, this is just my 10 favorites. I did this kind of series on my JJK channel, so yeah, this is it, Blackbird Senpai. Here it comes with number 10 being Reza. Well, first off, I want to say that I always called her Rez before I started to hear other people call her Reza, so I could be wrong in that. I just, I don't really know how to pronounce her name, but of course, the bomb hybrid devil. So with Reza, her time with us wasn't long, right? But she was so impactful in the story that I think it would be a miss to not have her on this list. She has a large fandom within the fan base, again, for only what seemingly was what 12 chapters that she was in, and she really just left a large impact. The way that she helped Danji evolve from just being this kind of brash, I love Makima, I can't think of anybody else but Makima, to more of a inward thinking individual by the end, really helped his development. Granted, it was in her sacrifice, as we all know, if you've read the manga. If you haven't read the manga, I definitely wouldn't be here. But as we know, she eventually had succumbed to Makima and her evil deeds. But as far as Rez, the character, very interesting, seems to be very fun-loving when she isn't, you know, murdering people by the dozens, which is also pretty cool. She's extremely powerful, was doing some crazy things during her art, some crazy powerful things, just an all-around badass. Like, I guess my favorite part for her was actually before she even transformed, when she had choked out that guy on top of the school and she was speaking Russian, kind of like that. She was saying like different sentences and stuff like that, because they kind of translated it, and it wasn't a song or nothing like that, but I guess maybe she was like serenading the guy while she was choking him out. Very interesting. It was just a cool way to introduce that side of her character. And yeah, Reza, just number 10, not too much to say about her on that spot. As far as the story is concerned, she's very important, but yeah, she's just a favorite of mine. Number 9 is Himano. So Himano is another one of those characters that didn't spend a lot of time with us, but what she did bring to the table was kind of this extra stakes to Danji when we're kind of running out of it. And it's like earlier in the story. So obviously, again, he's very Makima centric, but he was on this tirade of like, you know, feeling chests and trying to get a kiss, this and that and the third. So here comes Himano, who is much older. I won't say much older, but definitely older than him in the sense of consent, I think. I'm not sure what the rules in Japan are, what the laws are and everything like that, but just here in the United States, it would have been hella illegal, right? So when it comes to Himano and Danji, it was simply a situation of, this woman seems to be super easy, but Danji doesn't know how to handle that. So he's trying to like get done what he wants done, but Himano is so with it that he doesn't know how, like he can't grab it, like he's constantly fumbling it. So finally, as we all know, she goes in for the kiss, and you know, the puke scene that is quite legendary in Shonen Jump history, I'm sure, and just the whole thing is just very interesting. Again, she is just one of those more interesting characters that, and the more that you peel from her, the more you see this human that she kind of puts to the side, like her whole relationship with Aki and the whole thing like Aki don't die. there's so many layers to that. And honestly, I felt that there could have been more said about her, but you know, this story progresses and it doesn't really worry about what the characters have or haven't done, you know, kind of like real life, which is why Chainsaw Man always was up there for me as far as just how they handled their characters, because she had a lot of baggage and the story didn't give her time to figure any of that out. Her last wish was for Aki not to die. And again, that just says a lot about their relationship, how they feel about each other, and why she's at my number 9 spot. So number 8 is gonna piss some people off, but I'm just trying to be realistic here as far as my own likes. And I like her. Obviously, she's in my top 10. There's plenty of characters within Chainsaw Man. But my number 8 is Kobani. And I oh my God, I know my dislike button has probably exploded from the amount of fans of Kobani that are who are just beyond irritated with me right now. But basically, here's the gist. Kobani is just a really cool character, and all the things that she does as far as being comedic relief, kind of being the straight man of the situation, sometimes just being a sweet girl, it all works for the story. But they're just more interesting characters than Kobani all around. I just enjoy Kobani's moment so much that she was able to skip both Reza and Himano. And that should say enough within and of itself that these characters are like these deeply written characters that have a lot going for them. And then you have Kobani, who's kind of just a regular chick who's whole thing is that her family's broke and they make her do wild things to make money, like be a devil hunter or a sex worker. That was her options. So you can see what type of life she's living. So it's not to say that she doesn't have some depth, but it's more or less like it's a little different than, say, not wanting Aki to die because all your buddies died before him, or Reza's whole thing where she was in love with Danji, but was also sent to kill Danji. She's just kind of there all the time and comes in clutch also, but also at the same time it's like, oh God, Kobani's here, like what else can go wrong? That type of thing. So yep, number 8, Kobani. So number 7, I know is going to be very interesting to some people, and my number 7 is the Cosmo Devil. And the reason it's the Cosmo Devil is because I always found not only the power, but just the way that it was shown throughout the manga. And also, not the Cosmo Devil, the Cosmo Fiend. Now, granted, you know, like, I could be more specific about that, but essentially, Cosmo Fiend is the fiend or devil, you know, vice versa, that basically embodies the idea of just what's out there, right? Almost like knowledge, but in a different perspective. And essentially, when all of this knowledge that's in the cosmos comes into you, you essentially just say Halloween. That's all you can think about. That's all you can say out your mouth. It's Halloween. Everything's Halloween. So it's two things. Either A, your brain gets so maxed out that it's so remedial after that all you can think of is Halloween, or the answer to all existence is Halloween. You see how that's crazy? And you know, and they made this character this cute little anime girl with her eye falling out, and like the brains are showing. Perfect character, just so wacky. A perfect example of Chainsaw Man not only subverting itself, but then subverting the subversion. It's just a very different character that I always found so fun. But again, we just didn't spend a lot of time with them. And that's the biggest thing about Chainsaw Man, that because it was so short, it was like this experience. And Cosmo Fiend, Devil, however you want to say it, is also an experience. There's other devils that were part of that experience, but for her to be kind of like one of the characters that we get to follow around for a minute was just really cool for me. All right, so my number 6 is Kishibay. So now, Kishibay is like an obvious choice for this list. He is the super straight man of the series. He's the one that had, you know, the he's the one that was kind of calling Makima on her bullshit way early, and he's just a really interesting character as far as like what he's been through, his relationship with Quan Chi, which will also be later on in the list. Just his whole vibe is a vibe, essentially. Like, he's just really cool. Of course, he's the old man drunkard type, etc., but it seems to me that he has like this heart underneath and he's trying to repress it. So it's not one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I have a heart, but I try to just, you know, put it to the side. It's like he knows this, like he's very aware of his heart. He's like trying to drink it down. It's like, I don't want to care about any of these people that I'm working with because I've been through so much with them. So it's not the things like, well, you know, you have a heart, right? It's more or less like, yeah, no, I have a heart and I'm trying to get rid of it. So that's his whole thing almost, his whole training thing with Power and Danji. Just a cool character, made a lot of great moments, and without him, we'd probably be in a whole different timeline as far as Chainsaw Man's concerned. So shout out to Kishibay. Now at number 5, we have Quan Chi, just to follow up with that. And again, she's a vibe. To have, was it 3 fiends just as your girlfriends, just like you just out here like that, you know, like you just out here like making big bread from the government, just doing what you want to, just like looking like Kill Bill meets Blade meets Nick Fury. It's crazy. Like her whole thing is just so cool. And for her to be introduced later on in the story, I won't say that it was too late, but it's like, I want to say it's definitely the halfway point, I think. And she just hits it out the park. Like her whole thing is just tight. Like I can't explain too much. I don't want to give too much of the or say too much of the story to try to like drag the video out. It's just look at her and tell me this isn't tight. You know what I'm saying? Like tell me that she just ain't pimping. You know what I'm saying? Like it really came down to that for me. Like there's definitely things in the story that makes her cool outside of just her look and the way that she's drawn and depicted. But I mean, other than that, like if you were to show me this and I never read Chainsaw Man, I was like, I might need to read Chainsaw Man. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention that again, that now infamous color page that was posted in. I actually have it as my computer screensaver because I'm a horrible individual, of Quan Chi scissoring Power with the rest of the fiends kind of hugging and kissing on them. It was a very powerful image, if I do say so myself. But I guess it's time for me to move on for that for multiple reasons. So at number 4, I have Power. I'm definitely leading into this. I'm doing this very well. Anyway, Power is the ultimate answer to say a Sakura, right? Like everyone saw Sakura and JJK came up with Nobara, which I love me some Nobara. But then Fujimoto was like, nah, Power. And it's like Power is one of the worst characters ever, while also being just so fun and energetic and great. It's just fantastically written. You know how she'd act in certain situations, and sometimes you just don't. Sometimes it's just like, I don't even understand what this fiend is doing. But then on the flip side, it's like, yeah, if she's finna get in trouble, she's about to lie, and it's probably going to be on Danji. I love her character so much, but you know, like I think what Danji said, like, you know, like she's a liar and a racist, and you know, like, and she hates humans. Not a great character. Like her herself, not fantastic, but just the point that she's written so well and consistently throughout the story is what makes her so cool. So yeah, big shout out to Power. Number 3 is good old Aki Hayakawa. So outside of his demise, which is probably one of the sadder moments within Chainsaw Man, Aki's story, especially when you connect Himano as well, just the way he's gone about going through this life, looking for revenge, with his life constantly being cut shorter. Like usually for a character, that's a moment in itself. Like your life got cut however long, right? This happens to Aki multiple times, and it's so crazy, like to have to think about that, like that philosophical thing of, wow, I only have so much time. And that's something that he has to deal with not only on multiple occasions, but in a totality that, first off, not many fictional characters have to deal with. But the point that he has to deal with it so many times, again, is just, it blows my mind that Fujimoto was able to really depict how that would feel. And his hunt for revenge for the Gun Devil, his growing relationship with Danji, and how they were becoming brothers, essentially. All of it was just so melancholy, and Aki was a beautiful character for it. Again, fantastically written. Was definitely that perfect rival character to bounce off of Danji as far as like his wild and rambunctious ways. You have Aki, who's like very to himself, very calculated, clean, as you can see in his apartment. Just a guy that would have been so regular if it wasn't for his tormented past. So yeah, definitely Aki at number 3. And I guess to go ahead and get on with number 2, we have good old Danji. Danji the Chainsaw Man. Man, so Danji is cool for multiple reasons. First off, he puts the whole I have a goal shonen thing on its head, because his goals in the beginning were just so not only childish, but just kind of like really pathetic. You know, I want to touch boobs, I want to get a kiss, I want to get busy with somebody, this and that. It was so childlike and pedestrian, but he fought so hard for him within those first couple of chapters. Like, it was just very interesting how he was like flipping it on his head, where like, again, like you have Luffy, he's trying to become the Pirate King. You have Naruto, you know, hey, I want to be the Hokage, where that didn't really exist for him, because simply getting 3 meals a day and sleeping on a bed was a plus for him. So just where he came from was just so depressing and disturbing, that this what many would say a menial life was like heaven to him. So it just showed you how to appreciate things that you do have, because some people just do not have it and they have no hope of getting it, because Danji was definitely in that situation. He just had no hope. If the beginning of the story didn't go the way it was, it's just like he just would have been perpetually in this hell that he was in. And that's kind of the difference between him and other shonen protagonists. And as he grows to become a better person, it feels like a son, you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like this is almost a child of yours, or maybe a younger brother, or a younger cousin, a nephew. Is somebody that you're watching grow into an actual human being after being less than in their own mind for years. And that's what makes him so special. It's very powerful how it is shown overall, but again, it's just one of those things where I think people lose that sometimes when talking about him. But it's very pertinent for me personally. I love that character growth that he goes through, and at the end, when he kind of has that self-realization, now he has to care for somebody else. And just Danji in the beginning could have never done that, and now, though it is still set upon him, he seems more ready than ever. And that's why I'm most excited for Chainsaw Man Part 2. That, and he'll be going to school. So education, guys. Now my honorable mention is Beam. And I was caught between Beam and the Violence Fiend, because I love his dichotomy, like, you know, how he like almost like a really nice guy, like very like cordial, then he becomes like this hulking behemoth with like 4 eyes and just like it has terrible power. But Beam is just one of those characters that's endearing. He reminds me of Bartolomeo from One Piece. That was like such a big fan of Luffy. We have Beam, who's such a big fan of Chainsaw, and they just really work together as far as that, because again, like, Danji doesn't know what to do with the underling, quote unquote, and Beam is just all for it. He just thinks Chainsaw Man is so cool. So yeah, like, as far as just the excitement that he has, it causes excitement for you too. He doesn't do anything really cool. He's not super powerful. He's just Beam, and Beam deserves to be appreciated in any video you ever make, I think, personally. So now that we've got past the honorable mention, it is now time for our number 1. And if you're attuned with Chainsaw Man, if you have read it at all and you've seen this list, you know who's number 1. And my number 1 character is Makima. This woman is one of the most diabolical characters I've ever read, I will probably ever watch, and I don't think there's going to be many characters to top her that aren't already above her. She really solidified herself as a true Shonen Jump villain, and just, she set everybody up. If you haven't seen my video, the Makima video, you can watch it either on this channel, which I like, or you can go back to the previous channel and watch it from the original onset. But regardless, the way she plays us as a character before, like, and this is again, like, this is something I would say even before, say, oh, she played Danji, right? But she played us as well, and that's what's so interesting about her, is that, like, whenever we start to, like, she'll bring you back in, and it happens so many times throughout the manga, and it's done so purposefully. And those are the things that really make these characters seem so interesting, is how Tatsuki Fujimoto wrote them. But Makima in particular is probably his best work, I would say, period. The only character I know personally, I haven't read Fire Punch, so Fire Punch aside, I've read all his one shots, and I've read Chainsaw Man. The only character that I know that came close to it was the mom in that one shot where he was shooting video, like he was shooting his mom while she was dying, and she seemed so sweet by the way he recorded it, but then when he had the flashback, she was being kind of very terrible to him. That's Makima as well. Makima was being terrible to everyone, but no one really understood. She was putting like these large missions and these burdens on everybody, and everyone just took it because it was Makima, you know, and they loved Makima. In Power's case, she was scared of Makima. But just that whole thing where it's like, not only did she command that type of presence, but people wanted to give it to her as well, and that's what makes her so interesting. So yeah, that's my number one, and that's really the list as well. Trust me guys, if you like Chainsaw Man, I will definitely stick around, not just for me, but just for the content, right? But if you enjoyed stuff like this particularly, please like and subscribe. And if you have a friend that's into Chainsaw Man and thinks he would appreciate or she would appreciate this type of content, please share it to them, for we can grow this community as well as Black Bear Senpai, where I do a lot of JJK stuff as well. So without further ado guys, this was me, Black Bear Senpai, that guy. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.